Hi, I'm Dr. Esther from Korea. Thank you for joining me. Today, let us think about Lot in Sodom. Uh, Actually, I'm using two computers so that I can see this live broadcast is going smoothly right now. Yeah. Depending on which parents, spouse, teachers, and friends you meet, your life will be totally different. Um, that one of the most blessed people in the Bible about this is Lot. So today, let's think about with the title Lot of Sodom who loved God and the world at the same time. Let's read the Bible first. Today's passage is coming Genesis 19:14 to 19. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the man grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and of his two daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I cannot flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I will die." Actually, Lot had a great uncle Abraham. Because of Abraham, Lot was able to came to know Yahweh. And also when he became the prisoner of war, when the allied first as kings fight each other, Lot became the prisoner of war. He could have been killed, he could have been a slave, but because of Abraham, he was able to live. And also because of Abraham's intercession prayer, even this time, Lot was saved. In verse 29, chapter 19, verse 29 says, "When God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived." This gives us some lesson. We are also called to be like Abraham. Actually, because of that, our surrounded people are supposed to enjoy their physical, even spiritual blessings. Uh, but imagine, because of our intercession prayer for some souls who are supposed to go to hell, but they can go to heaven, it is tremendous things, isn't it? If you check chapter 18, there are three men appeared and then they are served, they are hospitalized by Abraham. They are Lord himself and two angels who were wearing human's body. And only two men entered Sodom. And then, as you know, such a famous conversation between God and Abraham, which reached the 10 righteous men. If there are 10 righteous men, then God will cancel the destruction of Sodom. So anyway, two men arrived, and then they are now in the house of Lot. And then the situation was very serious because judgment was approaching every minute. But Lot kept hesitating to leave Sodom. So the angels who closed human body, actually the man, the angels kept urging to leave. We can see several verses how much that situation was like that. In verse 15, the angels urged. Verse 16, the Lot hesitated. Verse 17, the angel said to Lot, flee for your life, so don't stop anywhere in the plains. Verse 22, flee quickly. Okay? So that kind of arguing was going on in the house in that serious moment. And then the wife of Lot's story is very famous because even though she was able to make a flee, but she turned back to Sodom and became a pillar of salt. Even Jesus mentioned in the book of Luke, remember Lot's wife when Jesus was teaching about the end of the world. Even then, not only wife, even Lot also had a similar mind. So did two daughters who had to leave behind their beloved fiancés. So while this entire family was so much hesitating, the man had to grasp the hands of Lot's family. This story shows that God does not lose any of his chosen people. Even Bible describes as Lot as a righteous man. In 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 7 says, if we rescued Lot, a righteous man who was distressed by the filthy lives of lawless men. Yes. Lot had sort of faith, that's why he was not happy looking at such terrible dirty behaviors, the Sodomite. Then, even though if he has this kind of righteous mind, then why he so much reluctant to leave that Sodom? First of all, we can get some tip in verse 1. 19:1. In the ancient Near East, the square in front of the city gate was the place where public assemblies, trials, and markets were held. So the fact that Lot sat at the gate, if you read the Bible, Lot was sitting at the gate and then he encountered these men, actually, who are angels. This Lot sat at the gate suggests that Lot held a prominent position in the society. So when you read the Bible, if you read the city gate, then that means the place is very important, and then this one implies that Lot had a sort of some high position in that Sodomite society. However, Lot was not so much respected person in that society, because when two men were in the house of Lot, the bullies, Sodomite, came to the house of Lot because they wanted to attack. Also, they wanted to have homosexuality. And then when Lot begged to run away together to that two sons-in-law didn't accept Lot's asking so seriously. Because two sons-in-law, they are already familiar with that, simple life. That could have been saved, from this imminent disaster, but they refused. So even in ancient time, even in our time, where or in what kind of conditions children grown up, it is very important matter because there were no righteous possible son-in-laws in Sodom area. Anyway, for Lot, it was very difficult to give up all the privileges which he achieved up to that moment in Sodom society. There are second reason why Lot reluctant so much to leave. Actually, materialism is involved. Lot was originally a man of great greed for wealth. When Abraham and Lot's possessions became so great that they had to be separate, Lot, given to the option, headed toward Sodom and Gomorrah, moving closer and closer, eventually settling there. He lived in Sodom. Um, according to Genesis chapter 13, verse 10, Lot looked up and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, actually like a Garden of Eden, like the land of Egypt toward Zoar. Also, Ezekiel mentioned how Sodom was so rich. Yeah. Sodom and her daughters were arrogant, overfed. Ezekiel 16:49. They are so rich, that's why they overfed themselves, not helping the poor. So all these stories shows that while the concern of God was in Lot's physical and spiritual salvation, the concern of Lot was in the vanishing wealth and fame. Likewise, Lot and his family are typical examples of Christians who love God and the world at the same time. Then what about Abraham? While Lot is the man of compromise, Abraham is the man of faith. His obedience, his faith is so extraordinary. He left his homeland Ur, which was so comfortable place, uh, which he seems to have a good house, wonderful family, relatives, friends, but he left behind him just because he obeyed God. And the meaning of Hebrew is the people crossed the river or stranger. And in the Hebrew, the word was initially used in a contemptuous sense, but after the powerful King David, it was elevated to the meaning of an Israelite. It reminds us, actually, the Christians at the time of Antioch Church also had a contemptuous sense, but no more now. And Abraham was really master of materialism. He was the master of money. How we can see when after defeating the Amalekite forces, when the Sodomite and other kings fight each other, Abraham really defeated them, and then he was welcomed by Melchizedek, who was a mysterious person, but at the time he seems to be the Jerusalem's priest and the king. Abraham really didn't pay attention about materials. You can read that text. Even when he purchased the cave, which is in Machpelah, to bury his beloved wife Sarah, he also did not so much pay attention about the money. He paid more than that, properable price. So this is supposed to be our Christians' attitude about money. Money is not the master of Christians, but Christians is the master of money. This is the faith God is looking for. This is the faith to please God. God wants us, our wholehearted mind, not even 90%. He asks our heart 100%. The story goes on. The judgment did not open only Sodom, but also Gomorrah and surrounding places. It implies that all the places surrounding that Sodom was so simple. That's why they deserve to be destroyed. And then, while this arguing, begging, hesitating were going on in the house of Lot, all the Sodomites didn't have any idea except two sons-in-law. That's why the judgment was all of a sudden for them. Suddenly, right after Lot's runaway, the Lord rained down burning sulfur, not just sulfur, but burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Like this, Jesus' second coming must be, would be sudden for all unbelievers. And then these kind of things are very much well summed up. I think this is the best description about the judgment which happened in OT and which is coming to us. The book of Luke 17:26 to 30, it was said by Jesus, just as it was in the days of Noah, so also will it be in the days of the Son of Man. People were eating, drinking, marrying, and being given in marriage up to the day up to the day Noah entered the ark. Then the flood came and destroyed them all. It was the same in the days of Lot. People were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But the day Lot left Sodom, fire and sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. It will be just like this on the day the Son of Man is revealed. Actually, Satan twisted the word of God even since, the fall of Garden of Eden. And then this, Sodom and Gomorrah was proved, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah were proved by archaeological findings. For Christians, archaeological findings is not ultimate authority. The Bible is, but sometimes, especially for Old Testament, archaeological findings help us to make it clear the Bible statement is really true. And then many people also are not happy to believe in what Bible says. So some people insist that the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah happened naturally. But just like I read in verse 24, the Lord is defeated even 2 times. The Lord rained down. The Lord out of the heavens. So maybe some of you already watched it. I also watched some videos which is about the site of Sodom and Gomorrah nowadays. Actually, just like we saw, that area was used to be very fertile before the judgment, but now it is totally useless. But still, there are artificial architectures are there. Of course, all of things are ruined, but still there are, artificial products are there. And also, there are a lot of millions of sulfur stones. And then scientists, studied about that. That sulfur found in that area is unique all over the world. There is no sulfur like that nowhere on the earth. So when they applied what Bible tells about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, then the archaeological findings all matched very well. By the way, Lot is the typical people who love God and the world at the same time. Of course, that kind of Christians can be saved. But these people are reluctant to give up the worldly view. They love God, they love the world, like materialism. And then problem is that with this worldly view, they evaluate themselves, even others. However, this kind of double-minded Christians, for them, it is very difficult to lead their family as godly community. Because, the children is the mirror of the parents, right? We can be good person outside, but our family knows everything about us, right? And then the children cannot learn from their parents who have double-minded what is godly life, because the mind is split into two. And also, these people cannot be influential Christians. They might be rich, they might have a higher position in society, they might be influential in their expertise. However, as a Christian, they cannot be good, influential Christians. Why? Because their heart is split into two parts, double-minded. So when we have 100% love of God, then we can be the person of faith like Abraham. May the Lord bless us so that we can have pure heart, whole heart, only to love God. No matter, even though we live in the world, it is different story. We love the world. God is looking for those people, men of faith like Abraham, who have 100% love God only. May the Lord bless you. And then I want to close here. God bless you all.